Hello, welcome to Popalong RC, the RC car channel dedicated to RC car racing. Now, we both love playing with our RC cars, but what's really important is that we get more kids involved in RC. Now, we have run over the years workshops.
Yeah.
We've done mentoring sessions with we've done rock crawling, monster trucks, drift cars. We've done
a little bit of everything. Where are you going with this? What are you saying?
Well, the thing is, right, there's loads of dads out there, maybe mums, but I'm sure there's some dads out there that could quite like to get hold of an RC car, and they've maybe got got sons, and they just want some quality father and son time. And this
or daughters.
And daughters. I'll tell you what, your daughter, she's pretty handy with an RC car.
She's handy with a car, let me tell you.
She is very good. But my point being is, this is a fantastic hobby for us, but it's a great way of building relationships with your kids, isn't it? It's fantastic. I recently, actually, I decided to pop along to my local field.
And what happened?
I took the boy, and we sat in the field. I took a chair with me.
Yeah.
Took some tyres, and we made a little track. And I know I featured them on the channel recently. I had the Apache, the FTX Apache. Love that short course truck, or trophy truck, whatever you want to call it. And I definitely had the Team Associated SC10 Pro 4 short course truck. And we basically made a little track. He helped me build the track, and we just basically raced for hours and hours. It was great. And then he comes home and he helps me tidy up, puts things on charge. And my next project is I'm going to get a Tamiya for him to build, all on his own. It's going to be his complete project from start to finish. But my point being, right?
Go on.
If you want to get your little uns, or maybe they're your big uns, like Pitman Dave, he goes racing with his boy, but his boy's a little bit older.
Yeah.
And there's a few people like that where, actually, if my old man was interested in RC, I'd probably get him along, and then he'd be racing with his boy. Yeah. We see lots of things. It's not just for kids. That's right. Anyway, I've lost my train of thought now.
You're going on about. But you say it's good to get kids in, but when we went to that race meeting the other day, it was a sea of grey hair, including you.
I wouldn't say it was a sea of grey hair, because there was quite a few no hairs.
So it's very popular with the
with our generation.
It's
and beyond.
It's the new lawn bowls, isn't it? Eh? RC,
it is.
RC. Anyway,
where you going? Exactly what it is. Right. Go on. If you want to get new people into the hobby, right? I'm all right with a car. I can race, and if I was to race one of my fast cars up against my son, there's going to be no competition in it whatsoever. But the beauty about the Apache and actually the SC10 is the transmitters they come with. You can turn the speed down.
Yeah, that's really handy.
So I slowed them both down, and I sped matched them to the point where he could get around the track without crashing, and then I matched his speed, which meant then it was all about racing lines. And I set myself a little challenge. I've got to get past without making contact. I didn't do very well. We were crashing and bashing and giggling and laughing. It was absolutely... It was fun. It was hilarious. And do you know what? That's the bit I missed doing with you, boss. To go back to the early days when we were at the school that time and we set up that track with a Kyle. What were they? They weren't Sandmasters, were they?
Oh,
those monster truck things, weren't they?
I can't remember what they were called.
And we set up a little track and we raced for about an hour, just chuckling, bumper to bumper.
But we've got the RB10s now, ain't we? They're both exactly. I haven't even used my one, so that.
Why haven't you used your one?
Because I have been busy working. I am absolutely fed up with working. I'm worried. Do you know what I'm worried about?
What are you worried about?
I'm worried about I'm working too much. I don't want to get to the age of 62. What is the retirement age these days in the UK?
I think it's near 67.
I don't want to get to 67 and die.
Yeah.
Having raced more.
I want to race my cars in my retirement. Go to a different club every day. Probably won't have a Mackie D's on the way to each racing night because I won't last long if
When
I
you
eat
get
like
older, yeah, we have to look after
Got to
yourselves.
look after
these
myself.
days,
But
yeah.
can you imagine how many toys we're going to have? Do you know what? When we retire, see this car here? They'll be calling this a vintage car.
They would, yeah.
So this vintage car here will be like a pre-vintage.
Really, really vintage.
Pre-vintage.
Car. Re-vintage car. Yeah, yeah. Talking about vintage cars, you know the vintage scene is very slowly changing. Have you noticed?
In what way?
Well, you've got this new breed of vintage cars, ain't you? Hear me out here, right? You've got these new...
Just pause for a second. Before you go down this route...
It's evolving. That you can't stop it, I can't stop it, no one can stop it. The vintage scene is very, very popular and it's evolving. You have got new old style cars coming out. New old style cars. You've got the JC10. You've got this Rubik's car that's come out. You've got the Trick Bits YZ10, right? Those three cars look absolutely amazing.
Do you know what? Why can't we run the RB10 as a vintage car then? Because it's basically a B4.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
And do you know what as well? Another one that's got that vintage look to it. That BBX thing from Tamiya. That had a very sort of vintage look to it. Not a vintage car, but kind of styled like a vintage car.
I don't know. I think the JC10 is obviously modelled on the RC10 here, and obviously the Trick Bits YZ10 is modelled on the YZ10. But I do think that. I think it's a good thing, man. I think it's going into new territory. It's going into new territory. I wonder if they'll change the name of it, and they'll call it like
Classic Racing.
Classic Racing. Maybe it'll get called Classic Racing or Vintage Style Racing. Because those old school new cars, if you like, have still got that nice feel about them. Like I had a go at Pitman Dave's Trick Bits YZ10, and it still had that old feel about it, you know. But if I take my B7 out, all right, that's 2-wheel drive. That thing's like, I mean, that's just so sharp and quick and vicious. I mean, I've got everything turned up on it, but you know, in the hands of me, it ain't particularly great. But I'm better at racing these type things, you know, and that's why a lot of us oldie, middle-aged, whatever, we kind of go to it. But I think it's in a really interesting phase right now, the vintage scene. Now, I'm no vintage connoisseur, obviously. There are people out there who've been doing it longer than me and you. But even in the short time we've been doing it, it's changed, hasn't it?
It has. And do you know what as well? We are very fortunate, and I'm not saying it's because of us, but our videos definitely put vintage racing on the map. The UK seems to be leading.
Oh, it's mega, isn't it?
It's leading the way. The Euromasters this year compared to the Phil Booth event, same weekend. The numbers.
I know, it's mad, isn't it? It's like, so you got that, and then two revivals this year, both sold out event. John Weston, honestly, what a legend. I mean,
brilliant.
Look, essentially, the Phil Booth event, and that was a really lovely memorial. Is it a memorial meeting? I mean, I suppose it kind of was, really.
Yeah.
Again, Phil Booth, a real major player back in the day, had a lot to do with Schumacher and designed a fair few of their cars and that. I do believe we met him once, actually, at a revival. But that was when we just first started.
Didn't really know.
But I recognised him, and I remember seeing a couple of faces there that I recognised, and we just started the channel, and I was too scared to go say anything to them because they thought, who are they going to think we are, sort of thing. But but that aside, you know, the event we went to, just what a nice event to be at. What a nice event. All right, the racing, you get up on the rostrum, you want a nice bit of good racing, don't you, yeah?
We do. Our races, because we only got one race, really, because the rest was qualifying, our two finals.
Bad luck for us, wasn't it, really?
Who had the worst first lap?
Look, man, look. I have to say, yeah, that when I got turned over, I was a bit passionate. Is that the right word? I was a bit passionate on the rostrum, and I kind of was a little bit disappointed, shall we say? Yeah. So it happens, don't it? It happens. It's racing, isn't it? But that's what we, on the rostrum we like a serious race and a clean race. But off the rostrum, we like a laugh, and that's it. We're all the same. We all go there, and we all fight for that grid position, don't we?
Yeah.
And when it doesn't go our way, yes, it is frustrating, but that's racing, isn't it? You know what I mean? And that, it's just we all want that lovely, lovely, lovely bit of plastic we take home to the missus, don't we? And as I've said on the channel before, when I go home with a trophy, one of them plastic trophies, and I show it to her, and she says, "Go away."